Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I'm your host, Preston Proctor. Yes, another weekend podcast. I guess we can blame the weather here in Nashville for not cooperating with my regularly scheduled weekend plans. But hey, that means we've got the data. Oh, that's right. That's something else I need to look at. We've got the data from last night's game for Chicago because they're the team we're playing tonight. And because of that, we are in a back-to-back situation with Washington. And so is Chicago. Chicago played Washington last night. They're playing us tonight. We're playing Chicago tonight and Washington tomorrow. They're just taking what they're given, working for a living. And oh man, yeah. I guess I got my coffee this morning. Yeah, early in the day, I already had breakfast, had my coffee, so I haven't had time or need yet for the quantum energy squares. Quantumsquares.com, Preds Pro gets you 25% off. 100 milligrams caffeine, 10 grams of protein, no junk. Nicely shaped bar, easy to carry, works just fine in your cycling jersey. And if the weather was cooperating, I might actually be able to ride outside, and I have one in my kit so that when I got hungry, need a little energy, a little protein, take it out. The other nice thing, some of the things I carry in my kit, like the gels and whatnot, the people on the Tour de France and the professional cyclists, they get to just throw their stuff on the ground. They've kind of cut back on that a lot more lately, trying to be a little more conscious of all the trash. They do have areas on the bike race where they are allowed to throw their trash. And technically, if there's a spectator, they're allowed to throw anything there because the spectators might consider it to be a souvenir. Not exactly sure if that applies to apple cores and the like, but water bottles and such, definitely. But yeah, so anything that you take out with you, you kind of have to take back with you. And so I usually carry a plastic baggie with me to put the disgusting stuff back into my kit. But these things, these energy squares are not, they're not melty. They're not dirty. And so, it still might be a good idea to have a little baggie just to make sure all your trash is put together and corralled in one place in your kit. But in general, you're not going to have to worry about getting sticky things all over your hands, and you'll still get the protein and caffeine hit that you need. But so far today, I haven't needed one. I'm sure later on today I might. Like I said, I just tried the dark chocolate pink Himalayan salt the other day. Didn't replace the cookie dough as my favorite, but yeah, nice little bar. QuantumSquares.com. Preds Pro gets you 25% off every day. So they're in the back-to-back, and Preds are in a back-to-back, and Washington is not. And Chicago, got a lot to say about Chicago, I guess. But we'll get to that because we try to keep on target and try to keep this to be, have each segment what the segment is, although sometimes I really can't help myself. So, okay, it's where am I at? Saturday. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to me taking a mental break, apparently. Yeah, there's nothing, I guess the big issue, the foot waiting to drop is still Marcia Show. There was a trade with Chicago, which is interesting. I'm going to wrap all that up together when we talk about Chicago. But waiting for the shoe to drop on Marcia Show, did a little bit more research today. Apparently the fan reaction to Montreal fans, their reaction when there was talk of Marcia Show being brought to the team. They did not like it. Apparently, they're just fine with like Philip Deneau coming as a temporary stopgap measure, but they saw Marchessault coming to Montreal as kind of a taking a step back, and they were not happy. As I've said, I don't really think that, because they did get Marchessault for a second-round draft pick recently, I can't see them getting Marchessault as well. I don't really think that makes sense for them. Nothing new on Patrick Lane. I did look him up. I guess, now I can't even remember. He was... he was with Winnipeg. He came up through the Winnipeg organization, went to Columbus for a few years, and then he's been in Montreal for just 2 years now. So not a lot of history in Montreal, and that he's been out this year, and this is his second year in Montreal, so he hasn't really paid off for them. He had 4 years, I think, in Columbus. So there's again, I don't really see. I don't really know that Montreal is, if Montreal really does want to trade Patrick Lane, I mean, $8.7 million, and they are really tight on their salary cap, and he's not going to be available till the end of February, and who knows what shape he's going to be in. There's only like a month and a half of the season. I don't know how many games would be left at that point. And so if Montreal wants to do something, they might need to just move Patrick Lane and go on with it. What I think Montreal is doing pretty well this year. They're top of the Atlantic Division right now, 56 points, tied with Detroit, and 12-9-1 at home, 13-4-5 on the road. So can't really see that they need to bring Patrick Lane back in, especially if he hasn't been there long. He hasn't contributed this year. I don't know. $8.7 million is a lot of cap to carry, and I don't know. I think probably the same story that I brought up for the Preds would be true. People might be willing to give up draft picks and a prospect or two in order to take Patrick Lane. Again, he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, so if he doesn't come back, if he doesn't re-sign, then whatever you gave away to get him is kind of tossed. So it's kind of a gamble. Maybe you should go to Vegas then. Not sure what's going to happen with Patrick Lane, but he could come to Nashville, but just not for Marchessault, I guess, is the thing. So this is the Marchessault discussion. Toronto still, from those two teams, of course, the more you look into it, you more find out that every team and their brother could potentially be a fit. I'm not going to go look into every team and try to figure out what the best fit is. People saying he could go back to Vegas. I don't know. Carolina was mentioned. I don't know. I don't know. Marchessault's 35. He's got 3 more years on his contract. 3 more years on his contract, and $5.5 million. It's not going to be. I think what has been shown here in Nashville is he's not going to be the star Conn Smythe player that he was with Vegas, and that's fine. He's 35. He's got a lot to bring to the table. As I said last podcast, if they got him back into the lineup and was productive, that would be great here in Nashville. But apparently 5-on-5 with Marchessault in the lineup is one of their weakest things, a real liability apparently from one of the articles I was reading. So it doesn't seem like there's a good fit here, and you can't put him on the fourth line, third line. So have to find a team. Montreal, reasonable. They've got a big name player who is out, and so somebody that can come in and make a difference, like a Marchessault, would be fine, except they got Philip Deneau. And I don't know how many of those players you need to get. So, so I think there'll be a spot for him. The question is where. Again, Marcia Show does have a what does Marcia Show have? He got a no trade clause, I think, with can't be traded, sent to the minors, or waived without player approval. So that's just getting player approval. And then, I guess in a couple of years, he's got a modified no trade clause where there's 15 teams. So I suppose if you knew what 15 teams are on the list for 28-29, you could guess where he's not going to go. Although that be interesting to see if he actually went to a team that was on that list. I don't know what the list is. I don't know if they publish that stuff anywhere or not. But anyway, so that is that with Jonathan Marcia Show. If any more news come up, we'll get to it. I was going to do this podcast on Thursday, and then because I didn't think I could get to it yesterday, and I was right, and then I thought today would be different. But then when I checked the weather, it was the sort of thing where I was going to be home and could do the podcast. So I was sure that if I did the podcast on Thursday, the news about Marcia Show would come out before these two games, or at least one of these two games. So it still might come out today after I finish this, but be nice to know a little bit more, wouldn't it? I don't know. Anyway, so that's that'll wrap that up, and when we come back, we'll talk about the upcoming opponents. That's right. We have a back-to-back this weekend. Tonight, the Chicago Blackhawks come to town, 7 o'clock here at Bridgestone Arena. Tomorrow, Sunday, I believe the game is at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, Sunday's game is at 6. Saturday's game is at 7. So the Chicago Blackhawks are here in town. They are 6th in the Central Division with 43 points, 18-19-7. They are 8-10-3 on the road. They are 1 point behind Nashville, but have played one more game. And they are 1 point ahead of St. Louis, and they've played one less game than St. Louis. So it's pretty tight, I guess. Here in the land without Colorado, Dallas, or Minnesota, the Central Division, and if you take out Winnipeg, who did happen to win last night, and if you take out Winnipeg, you've got a nice grouping of 4 teams, 5 points differentiating Utah, Nashville, Chicago, and St. Louis. Of course, Utah being in 4th place is 13 points behind Minnesota. 13 points between 3rd and 4th, and there's 14 points between the top and bottom of the Metropolitan. There's 11 points between the top and the bottom of the Atlantic, and there are 13 points between the top and the bottom of the Pacific. But here in the Central, there's 13 points between 3rd and 4th. 34 points between the top and the bottom. 34 points is almost as many points as Winnipeg has. They've got 37. So the Central Division is stacked with the three best teams. I believe that's still right. The 3 best teams, yeah. The 3 best teams in the conference, in the league, actually. Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota are now tied at 60. So 71 for Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota at 60. And then Carolina, Montreal, Detroit come into the mix. Carolina's 3 points behind the Wild. But yeah, in the Central Division where Nashville and Chicago play, or live, or reside, whatever you want to say. Chicago was ahead of Nashville, and then Nashville won Thursday, and Chicago lost last night. So Nashville is now ahead of them. All that's good and well. Utah is now currently the second wild card position. The Kings have not been doing good as of late. And so Nashville is, 3 teams. So Anaheim and LA are ahead of them. Nashville does have games in hand on Anaheim and Utah. So if Anaheim won, they would be at 47, and if Nashville won, they'd be at 48. So if Nashville won their 2 games, they would be the second wild card spot. So if everybody was even at 45 games and all those games in hand were wins, I guess LA would be at 50. LA would be at 50. I guess LA would be at 50. So San Jose could be at 51 in the first wild card spot. So I guess technically LA, if everybody won their games in hand, LA would be in the second wild card spot and Nashville would be the first team looking in. So that's where Chicago is. This game for them tonight is a 1-game road trip. They just finished 3 at home where they were 2-1. I think they had a 4-game winning streak. Yeah, they had a 4-game winning streak before losing last night to Washington. So they were playing good in the last 4 games. After this game, they have 4 at home. And, as far as back-to-back goes, Chicago is not playing very well in their back-to-back situations this year. This is the 6th back-to-back for them this season. They have 3 wins in the 11 games that they have played. They did win 2 in a row. Their last road trip was a 1-game road trip, right? Wasn't that a 1-game road trip? And they played Washington and won in a shootout, and that was a part of a back-to-back. So then they came home and they beat Vegas as 3-2 in overtime. But those were 2 wins, and their other win was against Dallas back in December, the front end of a back-to-back, and that was another shootout win. So their 3 wins have all been extra time wins, and overall they have not played very well in the back-to-back situations. Like I said, they're 3-8, and I guess they've got 2 away wins, 1 home win. Let's see, 2 of their wins are on the front end, which they lost last night. And so they're not doing very well in their back-to-back situations. And while we're talking about back-to-back, we can look at Nashville's record. This is a home and home for Nashville. For Chicago, it's home and away, and they've only had 1 home and away. They've had 3 away and homes, and then the other one was an away, but. Like I said, they're not done very well. This is home and home, and the Preds have had 2 other home and home back-to-backs this season. The last one was against Toronto and the Rangers, and they won both of those. And before that, it was L.A., which they won in a shootout, and then lost to Dallas. And it was Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so all of these were Saturday, Sunday. Overall, the Preds are 6-6. In these back-to-back situations. Usually Saros has been in the front end, although they did switch it up on the last one, the Vegas-Seattle, for Noonan got the win and Saros got the loss. Their wins have primarily been the front half. They don't have as good of a record in the back. But they're 1-5 on the back end of these back-to-backs. They're 5-1 on the front, so they're definitely a lot more effective in the first game than the backup. Chicago, they played in a back-to-back earlier this year at Chicago. They played at Chicago and then came home and played Winnipeg, and they beat Chicago in Chicago and then lost to Winnipeg. So I think, just looking at just the back-to-back situation, and we'll get in other things going on in Chicago, Yeah, I feel pretty good about Nashville and being able to get the win tonight. But unless they're looking past them to tomorrow's game against Washington. But yeah, they if they stay focused, which I guess has been one of their problems this season, then they should be just fine. This is the second game of 4 versus Nashville. As I mentioned, Chicago lost 3-4 in Chicago. It was a back-to-back situation for the Preds. And looking at Chicago, that was not for Chicago. It was for the Preds, but not for Chicago. So, so the second of 4 versus these two teams. They'll meet again in February 26th in Nashville and then March 22nd back in Chicago. Last year, Chicago only won one of the 4 games. It was the third game, the second game in Chicago, February 7th. They won 6-2. They did lose the other games. One of them, the one in March 8th, the last one in Nashville, and the last of the series was an overtime loss. As far as Chicago goes, suddenly all of their goaltenders are sick, which I'm sorry, I just thought was so funny. Okay, so let's start with January 8th. So on January 8th, which was 2 days ago, Chicago traded away. They had a trade with San Jose, and they traded Laurent Brossoit and defenseman Nolan Allen for a 7th-round pick in 2028. And a 7th-round pick in 2028. They traded that for Ryan Ellis, Jake Furlong, 2 defensemen, and a 4th-round 2028 draft pick. And as far as I could tell, Ellis is a NHL player, but he hasn't played. What did I got here? He played 10 years for Nashville. His last season with Nashville was the 2021 season. And then at the end of that season, on March 2nd, he went on injured reserve, got traded to Philadelphia, where he was with Philadelphia for 4 years, only played 4 games of that first year, and then that was it. And so then he was at San Jose and didn't play in San Jose. And so now he's somehow been traded to Chicago. It hasn't played a game since 2022, but he's still hanging out there. I have no idea what's going on, but there he is, Ryan Ellis, not going to be playing tonight, so we don't need to worry about seeing an ex-Predator on the ice. But they had that trade. Laurent Brossoit, who doesn't have stats with Chicago, it was the Rockford Ice Hogs. So he must have had some time with the Rockford Ice Hogs. And I think basically, Nolan Allen was, I think he also was a defenseman for the Ice Hogs, and Jake Furlong, probably plays for whatever, the Barracudas, I would guess. I don't know. So it kind of looked like a minor league trade, plus they get Ryan Ellis for whatever reason. Guy's just kind of, I don't know if he's even moved. If he's injured, why is he bothered to move anywhere? But who knows? And on top of that, okay, so that's on the 8th. And then on the 9th, they recalled 2 players from Rockford, number 14 defenseman Kevin Korchinski and number 33 goaltender Drew Commesso. Well, Commesso played last night. And so, so they've got 2 goaltenders, Spencer Knight and Arvid Soderblom, and both of them are suddenly sick, along with Louis Crevier, defenseman number 46. Starting today, listed as today, those 3 players are all sick. They're all ill. And I meant to look this up before I got in here, but then I forgot. I got distracted. But I'm just curious who the backup goaltender was last night. If there's the two guys that Chicago's had playing for them all season long are both now ill. And on top of that, they called up a goaltender from Rockford, and he's the one that played. So the Zilio, where did he come from? So the backup goaltender for Chicago last night was Nazzololo, number 40, Nazzololo, which I guess is fine. Number 40, that is Arvin Soderblom's number, but I guess if he's ill. So they called Kamasa. Where was Nazzololo? Where the heck has he been? It's funny because when I take a look at the roster for Chicago, Komesko doesn't even show up, and he played last night. He's still not there. They got Mitchell Weeks, Arvid Soderblom, Dave Nazzolio. I guess at least he is on the roster for Chicago, so I don't know who's going to be in goal tonight. But it suddenly looks like Chicago doesn't like any of their goaltenders, and the only one they're really willing to live with is Comesso, and that's until they can figure out what to do with Knight and Soderblom. That would be the only thing. When I saw, suddenly this is the time of the season where people go on injured reserve or they go out. They're sitting because the team's trying to move them. It really looks like Chicago's trying to make a wholesale change for their goaltending crew. And I think I remember this correctly. I think Spencer Knight, he came from, I think they just got him from Florida. He played, he did play for Chicago. I guess it was the 24-25 season. So last year, so he had played for Florida for 3 years, and then in his fourth year, he got traded to Chicago. Yeah, that's what I thought. So he's only been in Chicago for a year, maybe. He was backup goaltender, I guess. Hasn't played. No, he has played this year. 30 games this year, 13-11. So that's just, I don't know. It's just looking at Chicago, it just makes me, I just had to laugh when I saw that this morning, that suddenly these three players are sick. They're all expected back today. So like I said, number 46 defenseman Louis Crevier, number 30 goaltender Spencer Knight, number 40 goaltender Arvid Soderblom, all out as of today, expected back as of today. So who knows? Number 91 center Frank Nazar is out, not expected back till the end of February, as well as number 6 defenseman Shea Weber out for the season. And then, also on their injured reserve is now number 94 defenseman Ryan Ellis, who's out for the season, not expected back till July 1st, but they don't say what year. I guess that's the real question. As far as other things that they did just activate number 98 center Connor Bedard. He was back in time for that game last night. He was expected back on the 9th, and he was activated on the 9th. They said on the 9th they also recalled a defenseman and a goaltender from Rockford, and then on the 8th they had the trade. So that's a lot, and that's Chicago, and most likely it's a good time for a quick break. Yeah, did not expect to. Well, I did. I mean, that once I saw the stuff for Chicago, I kind of felt like this was gonna. I was just laughing so much about it, I had to tell Prudence. So that's Saturday. Sunday, the Washington Capitals, 6 o'clock here at Bridgestone Arena. They are tied for third in the Metropolitan Division with 52 points. They are 23-16-6 on the road. They are 10-8-3, just won last night on the road. They are tied with Philadelphia, but they played 3 more games than them. And they're 1 point ahead of Pittsburgh. The two teams, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, I think they were at the bottom of the Metropolitan last year, but there they are up near the top of the Metropolitan this season. But yeah, Pittsburgh is 1 point behind Washington, but also has played 3 less games. So Washington looks like they're in a good spot, but if the other teams win the games that they have in hand, not so much. Not so much. The middle of the lineup here in the Metropolitan is pretty stacked. You got the Islanders with 53 that the Preds beat the other night. But I guess the Islanders did get a point. Philadelphia and Washington at 52, and then the Pittsburgh at 51. So 2 through 5 here in the Metropolitan separated by 2 points. Next up are the Devils and the Rangers at 46. So they're not out of it yet. And then Columbus is bringing up the rear at 43. Carolina leading the Metropolitan and with 57. And I think that that also puts them fourth in the league, so behind the 3 Central Division teams. This is the second game of a 2-game road trip. They're 1-0 on this, having beaten Chicago 5-1 last night. And then they play 3 at home. It's the first of 2 versus Nashville. They'll meet again in our nation's capital on February 5th. Last year, Washington did win both games, 3-2 in Nashville and 4-1 in Washington. As far as personnel goes, they did just activate one of their players. Center Alexei Protas is now back. He was expected back on the 9th, and he was activated on the 9th. I like it when that works out that way. Who moved to injured reserve, unfortunately, though, is Tom Wilson. He is day-to-day, and I have him. I did not. This was not updated. Let me just take a quick peek here. And I kind of got lost here. Not expected back until the 11th. It says the 9th here on my notes, but that's because my production staff didn't get the breakfast and coffee I did. I don't know what you guys were doing, but I guess I should have sent some quantum energy squares down to you guys. So anyway, with that, don't look at me like that. So Tom Wilson is not supposed to be back to the 11th. Well, guess what? Tomorrow is the 11th, so he may be back in time. But I think that was one of the things. They put him on injured reserve Friday, so they moved him from just not being active. But then they did take Alexei Protas off injured reserve. So him going on injured reserve may have been more of a bookkeeping thing than his status changing. But anyway, so Tom Wilson may or may not be back, and then the other person that is out, not expected back until March, is number 80, left wing Pierre-Luc Dubois. Or it could be Pierre-Luc Dubois. Don't know how he says his name, don't know where it's from. But anyway, he not expected back until March 9th. Other transactions for the Capitals is on the 7th. They recalled number 20, right wing Brett Leeson from the Hershey Bears. And let's go ahead. We're going to talk about the Preds, and before we get into stats, we'll try to take another break. I got a feeling this one's going long. I'm going to need some spots, and I hate it when I don't leave enough room. If you're listening to my podcast sometimes and it sounds like I'm talking as if I think there's a break coming up and there's not, sometimes I just like to do that to make sure that I never know how long I'm going to go, and I never know how many ads the platform is going to put in there. And so I like to just have some easy spots to put ads in so it doesn't distract from a lot of things. And I don't always do that well enough, but I'm trying to plan. I think I went long with Chicago, so who knows how extemporaneous I get today. For the Nashville Predators, they are now 5th in the Central with 44 points, 20-19-4. That's still a winning record. At home, they are 11-9-2, and they are 3 points behind Utah, but Utah's played 2 more games. They are 1 point ahead of Chicago, who has played 1 more game, so they're pretty solidly right now, at least for the instant in time, 5th. It is the first of a 4-game homestand. No, it is not. This is the second game. Another change there. Come on, guys. Yeah, the first game was the game against New York. We didn't update this. This is the second game. It's not. Maybe I should come up with the announcers decide to play loose and goose with how many road games it was. I don't know. I think between Thursday and today, some of the players may have gone out of town. I don't know. Maybe they went down to Franklin for the weekend. They went down to Franklin for a meal, and then no longer a homestand. But anyway, tonight is the second of a 4-game homestand. They did win that first game, so they're 1-0. That was the shootout win, 2-1, which seems to be the only way they can beat the Metropolitan Division, is in a 2-1 result. I'll take it. For at home, they are 1-0. They have, like I said, having beat Thursday. They play Chicago tonight, Sunday tomorrow night, and then Tuesday, Edmonton comes to town. We just were up in Edmonton last Tuesday. After that, there's 2 on the road. It's a back-to-back, Friday, Colorado, and Saturday, Vegas. Hopefully the weather doesn't close in and cause problems getting out of Denver. For personnel, no new changes, which I guess is good. Weisblatt still listed coming back on the 26th of February, and Marcia Show pushed out to the 10th now, from the 8th to the 10th. Was December 20th, and the 23rd, and the 31st, and the 3rd of January, the 6th of January, the 8th of January, now the 10th of January, and so on. And other than that, no new transactions for the Preds. So that's also, I guess, good. And that takes us to stats, game info. Okay, so we always start out talking about that first goal, which the Preds did not get the other night against the Islanders. The Preds have now played 22 games at home. When they get the first goal at home, they are 6-2-1, which I guess is a 2-1 advantage on getting a point, 2-1 advantage winning the game, and 3-1. I guess 3-1, 3.5, I don't know, 1, the math, it's kind of 3.5. I don't know, 6-2-1, so a good advantage for the Preds if they get the first goal at home. If they do not, they are 5-7-1. So that is not looking, that's a good stat, right, for the Preds anyway, because if the other team gets the first goal, they still won 5 of those games, so it hasn't really been that much of an issue. Another thing that did hold true the other night was the second period first goal string. The Preds had 3 games where the first goal was in the second period. They had won all of those, and so the other night against the Islanders, the first goal happened in the second period. Another win for the Preds. So twice the Preds have gotten the first goal, and twice the opponents have gotten the first goal, and they still have won all 4 of those. I do not expect that to happen against either Chicago or Washington, but I wouldn't have expected it against, the Islanders, tough team to score on. We'll see when we get to the data later on. We'll see what we think. But anyway, yeah. So first goal for the Preds seems to be a nice thing. If they don't, hey, no, something off my back, no skin off my back. There we go. As far as periods go, we did tie the Islanders the other night, so now we're 5-6-11 in the first period. So it's a coin flip between tying it and not. And then as far as the not goes, it's kind of a coin flip, 5-6. The second period, a coin flip on just about anything. It was a tie the other night, so now it's 6-7-9. And then we get to the third period, and it's 6-11-5. So, coin flip between losing it and something else. That's not so good. How do they have a winning record at home? You kind of just start wondering. I guess when they do win it, they get enough goals. But 6-11-5. So a coin flip between losing it and not. And then that not is another coin flip between winning and tying. And then when we go to overtime, it's 1-2-3. 1-2-3. And then 3-0 in the shootout. Yeah. When the Preds do get the first goal in the first, or they get the first goal, I guess in this case it would have to be, well, I guess the wins would the wins would all be, they got the first goal. So if they get the first goal, the first period, they're 5-0-4. So getting the first goal, they have not lost the first period, but also if they don't get it, they've not won the first period. They are 0-6-7 when they don't get the first goal. Getting the first goal in the first period is 5-0-2, and not getting it and it being in the first period 0-6-5. Those are their stats are kind of a little. Let's just move on. Well, I guess the thing to note here is if they, the second period 6, 7, and 9 is their record. If they did get the first goal, it's 3-3-3. If they don't get it, 3-4-6. I guess that's still not. The third period, though, is a little bit telling. If they did get the first goal, they are 4-3-2 in the third period. If they do not get the first goal, they do not play well in the third period, 2-8-3. The only period it looks like they do play well in is the second period, and the 3, 4, and 6. You can't say that that's really that good, but at least it's not the complete disaster that the first and third periods are. I guess maybe just the third period's a disaster, the complete disaster, and the first period is a disaster. Well, but let's see. Okay, so what's important here is how do winning those periods match up to winning the game? And let's just say not very well, at least for the first period. First period, 5 times they've won the first period, 3-2, losing it 6 times. They're 1-5, tying it just like the other night, 7-4. So their best record, 7-4, was almost 2 times more wins. I guess you would say that was better. In the second period, 6 times they've won it, 4-2. The 7 times they've lost it, 1-6. And then the 9 times that they've tied it, 6-3. So again, the tying the second period, I think, home, for a while I was pulling for tie the first and tie the second. It's hard to believe you're pulling for ties, but that seemed to be their best scenario, which is what happened against the Islanders. They tied the first and tied the second. In the third period, the Preds are 5-1 when they win it, 1-10 when they don't, and 5-0 when they tie it. Now, taking out empty nets, this changes a little bit because now the Preds are only 4-1 when they win it, 2-6 when they lose it, and 5-4 when they tie it. And again, that's taking out the empty nets, which is, I think, just kind of interesting to look at regards to how they're playing, not so much the end result, but just how is the team playing when in the third period with the goaltender still in net. Looking at the combinatorics, which is next, again, tied and tied, tying the first, tying the second, now has happened 5 times, and the Preds are 5-0-0. Yeah, I wonder how many of those are the second period first. The second period first goals, right? The second, where is that? The second period first goal. No, that's the win. All right, this is taking too long. First goal period. There's first goal period. So first goal period is 2, and those are road games. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. So 2-1 when it happens at home. 1 and 2 when it happens on the road, but at home. Tied. No, they did. No, well, a little bit different. So when the first goal happened in the second period, they have lost. No, lost the second period. But they did not get it. Oh, yeah, they did not get it. They lost it. So when the 2 times that the goal happened in the second period and the other team got it, they lost the second period. and have tied it. And then when they've gotten it, they've won it and tied it. Okay. And then all of those are wins anyway. So, yeah, a little too long of a side diversion, but I just kind of got curious again as to, how it went, since the numbers seem to be lining up, but I guess they don't line up that well. Two of the times that the first goal happened in the second period is part of two of the times that they tied the first and tied the second. So, but that's 5 times. That's the most of any of the 9 scenarios: win, lose, tie the first, win, lose, tie the second. 3 times has happened the other, tying the first. 3 times they've won the second, and 3 times they've lost the second, and 5 times. So that's the most frequent scenario. And when they win and lose the second period, the record's the same. 3 times it's happened, and they're 1-1-1. When they've lost the first and tied the second, they're 0-3-0 in those 3 times. And then when they have lost the second, regardless of whether they won or lost the first, that scenario has happened twice in both those cases, and they're 0-2-0. Losing the second is not a good scenario. Just not a good scenario. So the best scenario is to win the second. But if you tied the first and won the second, that's not looking so promising. Lose the first, win the second, they're 1-0. Go figure. It's only happened once. Win the first, win the second. Of course, win 2 periods, lose 2 periods. You're going to win the game, lose the game. So that's kind of how that goes. But anyway, so the best scenario, in my opinion, is tie the first, tie the second. Definitely, I'd prefer them to win the second, regardless of how the outcome was in the first. But yeah, if I have to pull for a scenario, it would be kind of like what happened the other night, tie and tie, as they're 5-0 in those circumstances. And so with all that, we now wind up talking about goals. And the winning goal, again, it was in a shootout. We'll start with talking about goals. We start with talking about winning goals. When is the winning goal being scored? Here in Nashville, it's predominantly being scored as a shootout. No. But the Preds, I think, were good in a shootout last year too. But it seems like the shootout's happening a lot more this year. 6 times. What is this overall though? Overall 7 overtimes and 3 shootouts. So 10 games this year out of 43 has been decided in extra time. Here in Nashville, predominantly the winning goal being scored in the third period, which was not the other night, but 36%. And the second period is next up with 5, and then the other 3 periods, first, overtime, and shootout, all have 3. So, I guess a little bit strong for the third period. Again, didn't happen the other night. When the Preds win 36% of the time in the third period, and if they can't win it in the third period, they're going to win it in a shootout, 27%. The opposition winning when the Preds are here at home 4 times in the third period, 3 times in the second, twice in overtime in the first. So fairly evenly spread, but 36% in the third period. Home team has won 23 times this year, and the winning goal being the most times in the second. That did not happen the other night. It was a shootout the other night. But 7 times in the second, 6 times in the third, 4 in the first, and then 3 in overtime in the shootout. The road team winning 45% of the time, it's in the third period. That didn't change from the other game. It's interesting, though. 9 times it's been in the third period, 4 in the second and overtime, and then 3 in the first. So that's your winning goals. As far as goal scoring goes, let's take a quick look at that. The Preds in the first period are, even with their opposition 18-18 in the second period, just like the other night. Even 21-21, being outscored by 8 in the third period, but not the other night. And overtime, they're being outscored 1-2, and then in the shootout, they're outscoring 3-0. And so, the Preds did win the other night. So that the one goal. 14-8 in the second period now when they win. The differential in the first and in the first period in both scenarios, winning, losing, the differential is 5 with more goals going towards the losing, which is interesting because the Preds do have a winning record here. Interesting. 11 games here at home, 11 home wins, and they've outscored the opponents 10-5 in those 11 games. The 9 losses, they've been outscored 8-13. That's interesting. The second period, 14-8 when they win, 7-13 when they lose. Third period, 12-7 when they win, 8-21 when they lose. That's a pretty significant delta right there. And, so that's the goal scoring. And then, so what about the goal scoring when they come into the second and third period winning, tied, and losing? Coming into the second period winning happened 5 times. The Preds are outscoring their opponents 8-6. Coming into the second period tied like they did the other night. Now 11. That is the most that is the highest number of times that have happened in any of these 6 scenarios. Coming into the second period tied 11 times, and they're 10-11. So they're being outscored by 1 in the situations where they come into the second period tied. Coming to the second period losing, they're being outscored 3-4 in those 6 games. 6 times they've come into the third period winning, and they've been outscored 5-8, but 2 of the Preds' goals were our empty net goals, so that actually becomes 3-8. So the opposition is outplaying them when goaltenders are in the net. Tied has happened 7 times, just like the other night, and the Preds are outscoring their opponent 7-4, 2 of those goals being empty net goals. So they're outscoring the opponent 5-4 when they're tied and with the goaltenders in. And then when they come into the third period losing, those 9 times then they've been outscored 8-16. 6 of those goals being empty net, so they're still being scored 8-10 in the third period when they come into the third period losing. And with that, we're going to head to the matchups. And the matchups, this is where the magic happens if you can remember to read the right numbers. Yes. It's makes more sense. Fortunately, we got some similarities here. The Preds are home, which means the Preds have played 22 games at home. The Chicago Blackhawks and the Washington Capitals have both played 21. So that puts their numbers in perspective. And 22 for the Preds, so fairly close still number of games, but we do like to look at things on a per-game average to kind of equal all those things out. We'll just start with Chicago, tonight's opponent. Tonight, on the road, Chicago is the 25th scoring team, scoring 2.81 goals for. League average is 2.99. So they are... Let's make sure we've got the right, there we go, 281. So, what's that, 0.18 below? In the first period, they still 25th. In the second period, they're 26th. But in the third, they're 7th. So in the first period, they score on average 0.76, league average 0.85. The second period, 0.81, league average 0.96. And in the third period, they are scoring 1.24 goals per game with the league average 1.09. So it definitely looks like Chicago is a lot more dangerous in the third period. Goals against, they are sixth in the league in being scored on as far as road team goes, giving up 3.52 goals, which is about 0.4 above league average, 3.12 being the average. In the first period, they are 14th in the league, 0.9, which is right at league average. 11th in the second, 1.14. So league average 1.09, so it's still close. But in the third period, they did that go down? The league average goes down from the second to the third? That doesn't make sense, does it? No, it doesn't. I don't know why. They've got the road numbers, though. The road numbers are up between the second and the third. Interesting. Yeah, anyway, so, okay. League average, even though the goal score goes up. Okay, I'll take a look at that. But anyway, we'll just go with it. Anyway, so on the road, the goal scoring goes up. They're third in the league in being scored against. So it looks like with the Chicago, the third period is definitely the period that there's a lot of scoring. They're above league average in scoring and above league average in being scored against. Unfortunately for them, the differential is 0.7 against versus 4, but they're doing okay. I guess when they lose, they give up a lot of goals. But as far as where these teams are at, like I said, the Caps and Chicago both played 21 games, and which puts them close to the middle. 17 teams have played more games than them, 7 the same and 7 below. For the Capitals, they are sixth in the league in scoring with 3.24. Second in scoring in the first period, 1.14. League average, 0.85. They're 12th in the second, scoring 1 goal a game, which is close to league average, 0.96. And then dropped to 20th in the league in the third period, 1.05, league average 1.09. So their goal scoring goes up between the second and the third period, but their ranking goes down because overall scoring goes up between the second and the third period, which makes me really wonder about this. I've got to be getting that from the right place. Where else would I get it from? AO37. 37. Average. Yeah. AO37. Yeah, okay. Average. Yep, that's the average. All right. Weird. Still got to go back and check this number. But anyway, the ranking is still what the ranking is. And so the Capitals, I guess as far as just goal scoring goes, let's just look at the goals for a second. They've scored 68 goals. They've given up 58. They've scored 24 in the first, 18 in the second, 21 in the second, and 22 in the third. So they're fairly balanced. Their ranking drops, but they're fairly balanced all across. I mean, 24 in the first, 21 in the second, 22 in the third. So as far as just the raw numbers go, they're equal opportunity scorers in in each period. Chicago 16 in the first, 17 in the second, 26 in the third. So first and second, they fairly even, and then it does pop up in the third. As far as, let's take a look at the goals against for Washington when they are on the road. 24th in the league, 2.76 with a league average of 3.12. 27th in the league in the first period, 0.71. 24th in the second, 0.95. And 20th in the third, 1.05. So, yeah, not goal scoring against 25th in the league. Right, at 24th in the league on average, but 25th, I guess, just raw numbers. 58 total with 15 in the first, 20 in the second, and 22 in the third. So it does rise just like the NHL average. but they are consistent with scoring across all the periods. So they don't care what period it is; they'll score in it anyway. Scoring does go up against them moving through the game, but still below league average. For the Predators, they are 28th in the league in scoring for home teams, 2.73 goals a game. The first period, they score 0.82, which is below league average. And the second period, 0.95, which is still below league average. And then in the third period, 0.91, which is all of that is below league average. As far as giving up goals, 3.14, which is right at the league average, 3.12. Not so much in the first, 18th in league, 0.82, so below league average. In the second, 0.95, which is still, again, below league average. But in the third period, 1.27, which is above the league average of 1.06. So there's a lot of similarities between the Preds at home and the Blackhawks on the road. The third period is where they give up goals. The Blackhawks like to score them, but the Preds at home don't like to score goals. They like the tension of the wait. That's why the shootout. That's why the shootout's so popular. Overtime shootout. Give the fans more hockey. That's the Predators. That's the Predators here in Nashville. So as far as so that's goal scoring. What about special teams? I'm glad you asked. So special teams at home, again, let's make sure we're looking at the right place. Penalty kill, the Preds at home. Penalty kill, so Chicago is 14th in the league in the penalty kill on the road. The Capitals are 27th. And the Predators have the best penalty kill in the NHL for home teams. Chicago is 81.3%, 12 on 64 opportunities. They've scored one shorthanded goal. Total shorthanded per games played, they're 17th in the league. And goals against per games played, they're 20th. So that ratio goes in their favor, at least. Capitals have penalty kill is 76%. 18 goals against on 75 opportunities. So they've played the same number of games as Chicago, but they've had 11 more opportunities, and 6 of those have resulted in goals against. They have one shorthanded goal, so their rank is not very good. Total shorthanded per games played, they're 6th in the league, so they do commit a lot of penalties, and 5th in goals against. So I guess the only good news there is for them is that as far as the percentages go per game played, it's close. I mean, goals against being a lower number means that they're worse, but at least 5th and 6th, at least it's got to be decently close. The Preds have the top penalty kill in the league for home teams, 89.7%, 7 goals against on 68 opportunities. So 5 less goals than the Blackhawks have given up on. But the Preds have been on shorthanded 4 more times and played 1 more game. The 2 shorthanded goals, they did get one the other night. Their net rank is still second, 92.6%. As far as total times shorthanded per games played, 7th in the league with regards to that. And as far as goals against per games played, they are last. So yeah, they've total shorthand 7th in the league per game, which means that on average they take more penalties than the league average, but they don't give up the goals. So that's good. The Preds have played more games than 17 teams. They've played the same number of games as 5, and 9 teams have played more than them. As far as the penalty kill, where they rank as far as by games played, the Caps and the Preds are kind of there in the same number as with how many times they'll be shorthanded. So it looks like there could be a lot of penalties tomorrow night. Hard to tell with Chicago. Chicago's kind of right in the middle. And then, like I said, Washington's not that their penalty kill isn't that great. It's average. It's NHL average, which is not bad. As far as the power play goes, the Blackhawks are 8th in the league in on the power play on the road, 24.5%, 13 goals for on 53 opportunities. But they have given up a shorthanded goal. Only one, though, which moves them up to having the 5th best power play on the road net. As far as number of power plays per games played, though, they are 25th in the league, so not a lot. So it doesn't look like the Chicago games have a lot of penalties in it, maybe less than average. As far as goals for per games played, 11th. So definitely that's the ratio that you would want to have, 25th in the league, but 11th in the league in scoring goals per game on the power play. So definitely a power play kind of want to really avoid. As far as the Capitals, they are 19th in the league, so I guess league average, 18%, 11 goals on 61 opportunities, so they have 2 less goals on 8 more opportunities. Of course, none of this helped the Blackhawks last night. I don't know. I didn't look to see if it's kind of interesting. But, the Blackhawks would have been at home. So both teams couldn't have been on the road. They were not like they were playing in Sweden. As far as power plays per games played, the Capitals are 16th in the league, which is average. So about league average. And then goals for per games played, 17th. So it kind of ticks up on the penalty kill, ticks down on the power play. So I'd say, looks like the Caps take more penalties than they get, at least on the road. For the Predators, they are 17th in the league on the power play. I think that number's been coming up all season. 19%. They are 12 goals on 63 opportunities. So they have 1 goal on 2 more opportunities than the Capitals have. Had played 1 more game. No shorthanded goals. As far as power plays per game played, 25th in the league. So that's similar to the Blackhawks being on the power play on the road. They are 22nd in goals for per games played, so that number at least ticks up. So 25th in the number of times that they've taken or gotten penalties, and 22nd in goals for. So at least as far as NHL averages go, they're better in the goals for than the number of times that they've gotten the power play. So that's positive. Not nearly as positive as Chicago, but better than Washington. Yeah, so Washington's power play and penalty kill is at best average, I guess. So, again, I don't know that really mattered last night. But, again, I have to keep reminding myself that Chicago was a home team last night. But I'm just going to, because we're talking about Washington and their road record, let's just take a quick look here. They got 3 goals in the first period, Beauvillier, McMichael, and Frank. And then Chicago got a power play goal in the second, but they were at home. And then, so no power play goals. They gave up one power play goal, 1, 2, 3, I guess 4. So Chicago had 4 opportunities, and they got 1 power play goal on 4 opportunities. And the Caps had 3 power play. 1 was at the end of the third period, though, so they may not have cared too much. But they had 2 in the second period, didn't score. So take that for what it's worth. And then to wrap up the whole special team stuff, the Preds, how are the Preds doing on the road? Power play in the first period is 30%, 6 of 20. The power play in the second period, it really needs help, 4 goals on 34 opportunities. In the third period, 20%, 3 on 15. As far as the opponents go, the opponents are also good in the first period, 31%, 8 on 26. So, did they have any I don't think they had any penalties in the first period the other night versus the Islanders. I'm pretty sure they didn't. I think they all happened in the second period. Although the second period, the Preds are giving up 24%. No, they what was it the other night? Yeah, what was it? The Islanders got 2 opportunities. The Preds got 1. And the Preds got a shorthanded goal. So it looks like the 2 opportunities for the Islanders came in the third period. Historically, the Preds at 21% in the third period, 4 goals, giving up 4 goals on 19 opportunities. So it kind of decreases 31% in the first, 24 in the second, and 21 in the third as far as the opponents getting goals when the Preds are shorthanded. The second period does seem to be the one Achilles heel for the Preds. Probably would have made a difference earlier in the season if they'd been able to get their power play working in the second period. But for now, I mean, this is where they're at and going forward. So, but they're 4 goals on 34 opportunities is not stellar. So, all right, and that's our special teams discussion. Where does that take us? Oh, right. Next up would be the people to watch. So, people to watch for Chicago. First up is number 59 left wing Tyler Bertuzzi, first on the team in goals with 14. These are road statistics, remember. Second on the team is number 28 left wing Andrei Burakovsky. Bertuzzi is second on the team in points with 22, first on the team in shots with 48. Oh, yeah. So number 59 left wing Tyler Bertuzzi. Let's take a minute and just let's back up and talk about this. He is first on the team in goals with 14, first in the team in shots with 48, and his shooting percentage is 29.2%. And I did not look this up. Maybe I should have, but I think that's pretty daggone good for somebody that, especially for somebody that leads their teams in goals, to have a shooting percentage of 29%. So 14 goals on 48 opportunities. Now, Burakovsky is second on the team in shooting percentage with 23.5%. He's got 8 goals on 34 shots. So the 2 guys that lead the team in goals on the road have great shooting percentages, Bertuzzi and Burakovsky. And what they just got, Bedard just came back. So Bedard was in the lineup last night. I'm anticipating he'd be in the lineup tonight. Bedard is first in the team in assists, first in the team on points, 19 and 25. He's second on the team on time on ice with 20-50. So he's on the ice most and second in shooting, 46. So Bertuzzi and Burakovsky, the 2 guys with the best shooting percentage, are on the first team. Bedard is listed to be on the second line. So Bertuzzi and Burakovsky, first line, centered with Green. And then Bedard is the left wing on. Left wing on the second line. I'm laughing because left wing, they've got Bedard listed at center. And then they've got a center left wing listed for center and a left wing listed at right wing. So, I guess Bertuzzi is a left wing, right wing. Burakovsky is a left wing, right wing. They must not have that many right wings on their team. That seems to be the way things goes. It seems like teams generally have a lot of centers. Yeah, they got 1 right wing and one guy who's listed as a right wing. Whatever. There you go. But anyway, so Bertuzzi, Burakovsky, really good shooting percentages, lead the team first and second in goal scoring. They play on the same line. Like I said, their shooting percentage is crazy. So that's definitely something to worry about. Then Connor Bedard is back, leads the team in assists. Second on the team in assists is 10. and Bedard's got 19. So there's a big drop off between Bedard and everybody else. And I'm not even going to mention him. And then Vlasic, not Marc-Andre Vlasic, but Alex Vlasic, number 72 defenseman Alex Vlasic, first on the team in ice time. 20 minutes, 58 seconds. So there you go. Bertuzzi, Burkowski, and Bedard. Do they have anybody else whose name starts with a B? I'm just going to take a quick look here. No, they don't. Well, there you go. For Chicago, if their name starts, and it's the last name, so it's going to be on the jersey. If it starts with a B, watch out. Watch out. Watch out for those Bs. Dang, damn it, they're in here again. All right. Oh, my goodness gracious. I've been in here too long. For Washington on the road, let's see. Not sure how to OVEC. Who's this guy? Number 8, left wing, Alex Ovechkin. How do you say that? Yes. It's Ovechkin. Ovechkin's coming to town. He's first on the team in goals with 10. He's second on the team in assists with 12. Makes him first on the team in points. He's second on the team in shooting with 57. Yes, Alex Ovechkin in town, number 8. I don't care where he's playing. If they had him lined up on defense, I'd worry about him. I don't care if he's 105. There you go. Second on the team in goals has 9, and that's Tom Wilson, who's out. He might be back, but it's not looking likely. Number 43, right wing Tom Wilson. He's fourth on the team in ice time, so he's the forward that's out there the most. He is third on the team in shooting percentage at 23.7%. So he's second on the team in goals and third on the team in shooting percent. Well, get to the people that are first on the team. This is scary. This is another one of those scary statistics that I think we just need to be aware of. Carlson, number 74 defenseman John Carlson, first on the team in assists. Number 17 center Dylan Strome, second on the team in assists, second on the team in points. Not worried about those guys. I mean, you gotta play, right? First on the team in shooting percentage. Let's just talk about this. Number 15 left wing Sonny Milano has 4 goals on 8 shots. He did not play. He did not play last night. He's only played 8 road games. He's played 26 total games. He's on the team. He's in the lineup. He's just a healthy scratch a lot, apparently. He's 0 for 21 in shooting at home. But he's 4 for 8 on the road. And so that just makes me wonder, it's probably too soon to be looking at the lineup for the Washington Nashville game, but maybe we can just take a quick look. So, because Sonny Milano, if he's in the lineup, and they're not going to show it, and they don't show him there, but yeah, 4 of 8, and he's one of those guys that seems to score on the road, not at home. So, like I said, 4 goals on 8 shots on the road. He did not play against Chicago. Second, another guy very similar, Ethan Frank. Frank is listed on the 4th line. Frank did play last night, and he was 1 for 1. 1 shot, 1 goal. The guy's got 6 goals on 19 shots on the road for a 31.6 shooting percentage. He's played 17 games on the road, so not all of them, twice as many as Milano, but not all of them. He's played 33 total games, so he's still been out 11. He's got 1 goal and 31 shots at home, but he's got 6 goals and 19 shots on the road. And like I said, he was one for 1 against Chicago. It wasn't an empty net goal. I guess that would be the other thing to check, as some of these guys getting empty net goals, but not sure. And then finally, the third on the team shooting percentage is Tom Wilson. 4th on the team is number 22 right wing Brandon Duhaime. Where's Duhaime? Duhaime plays on the 3rd line with Nick Dowd and Beauvillier. But Duhaime, 4 goals on 17 shots. He's played all the games. He's 21 games on the road, 44 total. He's 0 for 12 at home, but he's 4 for 17 on the road. He was 0 for 1 against Chicago, so he kind of, I think he was third, and he ticked down a point below. No, I guess he'd still be third. I guess I messed that up. Anyway, I got the percentages wrong somehow, because I'm sure they had Wilson listed third, but no, 23.5 is below 23.7. Duh. Yeah, my production staff had it right. But anyway, so there you go. There are 3 guys on their team that seem to play a lot better on the road than at home in a scary kind of way. Milano, Frank, and Duhaime. So in addition to worrying about Ovechkin and Wilson, there you go. Those are the guys to look out for. Just way too many, and there's no way to keep track of that. 22, 53, 15, 6, 17. Yeah, so I forget about it. Yeah, Milano, Frank, and Duhaime. Those are the 3 guys that worry me. If Wilson is back, you got to worry about him, and then Ovechkin. So it's just too many people. Too many people. What about the Predators? Well, the Predators got 2 goals the other night. One was a shootout goal, so it doesn't count towards anybody. Even though Forsberg got it, he doesn't get credit for a goal. I guess to make things even, the goaltenders don't get dinged for giving up a goal in a shootout. So that's just how it goes, which is fine, I suppose. It's how it goes. But there was 1 goal scored, so the numbers changed a little bit, but not that much. Forsberg still leads the team in goals with 12, leads the team in points with 19, leads in shots with 75. Stamkos is second in goals with 9, second on the team in shots with 54. The real guy with all the stats is number 90 center Ryan O'Reilly, third on the team in goals with 7, second in points with 11, second in assists with 11, second in points with 18. He's fourth on the team in ice time, so he's the forward that's out there the most, 20.03. And then Luke Evangelista, first in assists, third in points. Yossi is also third in assists and first in ice time. Cole Smith took a shot, didn't score, so his percentage went below 20, so we're not mentioning him. Ha-ha. And then, so the one player the Preds have with a shooting percentage over 20% at home is Mr. Reed Schaefer. Did dip because he took a shot, didn't score. 2 goals on 9 shots, so technically 22.2%. So that is the players to watch, and momentum comes up next. Wow, we're running long. Okay. Momentum, Chicago, 8-10-3 on the road. They did lose to Washington at home last night, which broke a 4-game winning streak. They are not the best back-to-back team. They are 5-4-1 in their last 10. Their last road trip, they did beat Washington 3-2 in a shootout, and they are 5-4-1 versus the Central Division. Washington on the road is 10-8-3, winning on the road last night. They won their last game, lost the game before that. So they've kind of been alternating wins and losses the last 4. They're 4-4-2 in their last 10. Their last road trip was a loss 3-4 against Ottawa. And they are 4-4-1 against the Central. Nashville at home, 11-9-2. They won their last game, just like Washington. They've been alternating wins and losses the last 4, but they are 7-3-0 in their last 10. Last homestand, they were 2-1. Against the Central, they are 6-7-2, and against the Metropolitan, 4-6-0. And adding to it again, all 4 wins, 2-1. All 4 wins. Columbus, the Rangers, Pittsburgh, and now the Islanders, all 2-1. So who's got the momentum? The Preds. Preds pretty, I mean, just looking at this, the Preds have good momentum. Washington got good momentum. Chicago was playing well. They had 4 games in a row for wins in a row, losing 2 before that. They did have a 6-game losing streak not too long before that, so they kind of turned things around. But I don't know what they're doing with their goaltenders. I'm not sure who to expect in goal tonight. I wonder what they say. I guess it still looks like the starting goaltenders is uncommitted. Kamiso and Berezanov. I didn't think there's anybody on their roster named Berezanov. Nizolito was the backup last night, but Puckpedia has Berezanoy as the backup for Chicago tonight. I don't even know. He's not even on their lineup, but then neither is Comesso. So I don't know what what Chicago is doing with their goaltenders. I don't know. I don't know. Something's going on in Chicago, and that can't be good for the team. That can't be good for the team. So I would say of all these teams, Chicago's probably have to have the worst mindset coming into it. And but the Preds have to stay focused. They got to stay focused on Chicago tonight. Don't look past them, and look to Washington tomorrow night. But then they've got to regroup and get up for the Capitals. So it's going to be a tough weekend for the Preds. Hopefully they can come out of this with 2 wins. And, that'd be great. Two wins here in Nashville. That'd be 3. And then beat Edmonton on Tuesday. And just take the whole homestand would be awesome. We will see. That's why they got to play the game. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.